All right, we are going to talk about photosynthesis. So you all know that nearly all living things obtain energy either directly through the sun or indirectly through the process of the food chain. So the food chain, we know that plants such as grass use energy from the sun to make their own food. Therefore, they are called autotrophs. That should sound familiar. The autotrophs then are eaten by consumers like a caterpillar. A caterpillar, because it eats an autotroph, is considered a heterotroph. There's also birds that eat caterpillars or other organisms, and those birds are also heterotrophs because they cannot make their own food. So be sure that you're clear on that. Photosynthesis. So photosynthesis is the process by which a cell captures energy in sunlight and uses it to make energy that the cell can use, or that the cell can store, excuse me. During photosynthesis, autotrophs, remember those are organisms that make their own food, like plants, use the sun's energy to convert carbon dioxide, CO2, and water, H2O, into oxygen, O2, and sugars, C6H12O6. So here's our reactants. These are the things we start with. Here's the light because the light changes it, and then we end with oxygen and sugar. So the location of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis happens inside the leaves of plants. Each leaf is made up of hundreds of plant cells, and in each plant cell are chloroplasts. These chloroplasts are made up of chlorophyll. So we have a leaf. If we were to cut that leaf and put it under the microscope, we would see a bunch of cells like this. And these ones right here that are long and narrow are called mesophyll cells, and those are the ones that do photosynthesis. Okay, you'll notice in this mesophyll cell, you'll see lots of different chloroplasts. See, there they are. And this is what a chloroplast looks like. Okay, the chloroplasts are like little stacks of these things called granum. And inside of each of these chloroplasts are the chlorophylls. All right, there are two stages of photosynthesis. Stage one is where light energy is actually captured. This first stage is also called the light-dependent reactions because the reaction depends on if there's light or not. So this doesn't happen in the dark. The process mostly occurs in leaves. Chloroplast in plant cells captures energy using photosynthetic pigment called chlorophyll. So those chlorophyll I told you that were in the chloroplast actually capture those items of light. They capture light. And then once they've captured it, they turn it into energy. And that energy powers or gives energy to the second stage. So the second stage is where the energy from stage one is used to make food. This is called the Calvin cycle. So here we actually use the energy that we used or got in the light-dependent reaction, or stage one, and we take it and we take water and carbon dioxide and we rearrange them with that energy, and we create sugar. Okay, we create C6H12O6 or glucose, okay, as well as oxygen. Remember that there are parts of a leaf that can breathe. These parts are called stomata. So the carbon dioxide that we breathe out as humans goes into the plants through these stomata, or little holes or pores in the leaf. And those pores in the leaf are also the place where once oxygen has been made at the end of stage two, it will exit through those stomata and end up in the air for us to breathe. So here's a good diagram. Okay, so we have our light reactions or light-dependent reactions. The light comes in and very easily water is converted into oxygen and we get ATP. Remember, ATP is energy, and that ATP is used to power the Calvin cycle. Into the Calvin cycle goes carbon dioxide and out will come sugar, and we will give ADP. Remember, this isn't the energetic form. ADP back to the light reaction, and so it circles back and back and back and back over and over again, and that's why it's considered a cycle. So yeah, I hope that made sense. Write down any questions you have, and I will see you tomorrow.